yourself if you think about entering,
Hello and welcome back. It's the Milltek Sport Civic Cup. We are live, hopefully. First things first, there's the grid. It's the reverse top 10 grid. But let's have a little walk around. I'm going to show you my biggest fan. Okay, come with me. It's very hot here at Oulton Park. Let's not get run over. Here is my biggest fan. Can we have a fan, please? That's nice. Thank you very much. What's your name?
Maria.
Maria. Have you been a marshal long?
A year.
And how are you finding it?
Good.
And what's your job today?
So basically, I've got the grid sheets and then I've got to mark off the cars and also the green flag.
Yep, that's pretty important. This is kind of pit lane exit for the assembly, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've been a marshal once before, and I know how difficult it is. There's actually a shortage of marshals, isn't there?
Yeah.
So what can people do if they want to get involved in marshalling? How should they go about it? Just go on the internet, or what should they do?
They should definitely come here because it's the best circuit.
Oh, I like that. You're my fave because I love Oulton Park. It's the best circuit ever. Keep up the good work and send my best to all the other marshals doing a cracking job today. It's hot in them overalls, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, it is, Paul. She's like, who's Paul? That's me. Right, come on, let's go and speak to some people. Right, OK. Harvey Catton, we're going to call him. It's my best mate's son. He's doing a good job. Where's he gone? Here he is. Hello, boy. Listen, mate, I've been wanting to catch up with you for a long, long time because big day to do for you is pole position, but you've been knocking on the door, mate. You've had a fantastic start to the year. For a youngster, you've done a cracking job.
Well, this year we were just aiming to like learn the car and stuff, like setups and how to drive them as fast as possible. But I'm really excited to be on pole. Like, we weren't expecting any podiums this year. I mean, obviously hoping for some, but never expecting them. Hopefully I can just, like, in this race today, keep it on top, hopefully get a podium.
And how old are you, mate?
16 and 17 this year.
My God, I can't even remember what I was doing when I was 27. But listen, I speak to your dad quite a lot. Top man is your dad, and I'm sure he's very proud of you, but sometimes he looks like he's giving you some proper like abuse. Is he a hard, tough dad to deal with, or does he just want you to do well?
He just wants me to do well. He gives me a lot of prep talks before all the races because I think sometimes he's more nervous than I am. So, but yeah, he's really good on the setups as well because, like, obviously that's what helps me go as fast as possible. And yeah, he's really good with it. So. And
the action seems to be always where you are because you were actually P11 across the line, but you got squeezed on the exit of the first corner. But they've put that position back, so you finished 10th in the race, and that put you on pole.
Yeah, I was quite surprised when someone came up to me and said I was starting first because I thought I was starting 11th. I don't know what's happened because I'm pretty sure the race got knocked back a lap and I was 11th, so I guess it's just luck, I guess, yeah.
Well, it's happy days, mate, and you're on pole position. Keep your head down, and I want to see a podium, mate. That'd be good. Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, hopefully. I'll try my best.
Good lad. You get yourself in gear, mate, and you crack on. Right, good kid. We like him. He's proper. Right, Mr. Edmondson. I've just been speaking to your good friend Isaac Smith. I said, what are you doing over here? And he went, well, I'm going to watch a proper send. So what are you going to do? What's a proper send? You're not going to knock anyone off here.
No, I don't knock anyone off. I'm a clean racer. Isaac just loves watching shunts, so he's expecting one, I reckon.
That's a bit rich coming from him, actually, isn't it, in TCR?
He's not the best. He always causes shunts, especially in minis and TCR, so he can't say much.
He's going to love you for that. I was just going to say nothing. Oh no, I was actually going to say nothing because I thought he was going to stick that over your head. But he's a bit of a character, isn't he? And why have you got your top off? That's like should be illegal. That he shouldn't be in this paddock, should he?
Definitely not now, especially the state of that.
I think he's just gutted that he isn't racing anymore, isn't he?
I would agree. He shouldn't be. He's not quick enough this year.
He's not quick enough this year. Buki, you've proper been done there, mate. So yeah, he's on about Mr. David Buki there with his top off. This is a kids show, mate. So can you please put that top back on? How are you, fella? You're doing an all right job, are you?
Yeah, difficult qualifying, but we made 4 places in the first lap of race 1. So even though it was red flagged, we still got ourselves up into the position to start in P3 in this race.
Where did you get them positions? Because Oulton Park, as everyone says, is the worst place to overtake.
It was a rocket start off the line, really. I mean, I made like 2 places before we even got to the first corner, then 2 places through Cascades as well. So it was just right place, right time, really.
What are you thinking of this championship at the minute? Because I always say on commentary, and I hope it doesn't go wrong one day because I keep saying it, but the driving standards, they're hard but fair, I'd say. I think it's a good club championship to learn your skills, and I always sound disrespectful when I say club, but if you're in the top 10 of this, you are pedaling hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much experience of racing in the real world. I did Saxos last year, and they were sometimes a bit argy-bargy, but they're pretty good. You know, you can lean on each other, and you know, most of the time you're going to get room from each driver, and there's no really like big contact into crashes. So, from what I've seen so far, it's a good championship to be in, and like you say, it's incredibly competitive with a lot of people trying to use it to step into TCR or JCW or something. So it's the right place to be to show what you've got.
Top man, Mr. Redford speaks well. We like that. Wicked. Right, let's move on. Good luck, Captain. Have a good one, mate. Speaks well, him, doesn't he? Bit like a Tory, quite posh. We don't mind Tories. Right, speaking of Tories, I reckon he definitely is one. Matty, we spoke to you before, mate, but we'll have another word with you. I just called you a Tory off camera, but you know you're probably not. I always think you should be in like some weird boat race in Cambridge or something, because you're Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Not really, no.
I love that. He loves a good interview. Why have you got your helmet on, mate? It's like 20 minutes to go.
We were told to get in the car about 10 minutes ago. So I got out and I was like, I may as well take it off now. We're going out in a minute, but we seem to be being held here for like another 10 minutes. So in hindsight, I probably should have taken it off, but it's a bit late now.
To be fair, mate, you're in the shadows here, aren't you, anyway? So it's not too bad, too cool. Right. Tell me then, mate, what's going on? That race didn't help you out there because you were probably looking at going forward, weren't you?
Yeah, the main aim for me in that one was a podium. If I could get on the podium, you know, not let Campy get too much of a lead in the championship, that was the aim. Made a tricky start. I think I lost the place to Butler off the start, and then that allowed Benzie to get on the outside, and I was on the marbles through Cascades and it got all out of shape, and that was that. I think I was down in 7th or 8th. And yeah, 2 laps later they ended it. So obviously because of the accident. So yeah, it wasn't ideal. Like I said, we're aiming for podiums every single race. So that's the aim in this one as well. I mean, there's a few quick guys in front of me. There's some even quicker guys behind. So yeah, the main aim here is just to keep moving forward and try and get on that podium.
Wicked. Right, we'll leave you to it. Bobby Butler, what's the score, Captain? Mate, you're moving around quite a lot. I think you've raced in every championship this year, haven't you, for every different team?
Pretty much at the minute. Yeah, look, we had nothing in concrete at the start of the season, so we're just playing. I'll finish the year out with area now with Civics, and yeah, have a look then for next year is to build for that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Car looks good, mate. Looks nice. Looks pretty new. Done a good job. They do a good job, though, those boys. Don't
they? Absolutely. One of the best around, in fairness. Like, these cars are mint. They built this in 3 days last week just to be here. So we showed up for testing yesterday. It never turned a wheel. No issues all day. The only problem is the main gasket between the seat and the steering wheel at the minute. Just adapting to how these guys set the cars up. And yeah, I think we'll get there. It's going to be hot out there. Do you want to swap? I'll go to your aircon unit and you can get in here for 15 minutes.
Absolutely not, mate. It needs an athlete to do that.
Oh, yeah,
and that is something I'm not boss.
You're just
matching.
No.
No. I'm 42 and old, mate. I wear blacks. It makes me look thinner.
I know. Well, I'm 30, so I've got an excuse. You know, it's all downhill from here, isn't it?
It needs subtitles, but I think he said he's 30. I think did you say 30?
Yeah, well, you know. It's like the tree over there.
Here we go. We could be all day with that one, couldn't we? Thank you.
Podium later.
Top man. Cheers, Bobby. Right, okay. Lots of people with tops off. Nice one. Looks good. I'm only joking. Ryan Bensley, why have you got your helmet on as well?
We're going out in a minute, aren't we?
You're not going out in a minute, mate. We're still like halfway through this session.
I like the heat.
Who's your grid lady here?
Becky.
Hi.
I was asking Becky.
I'm Becky.
That's Becky. It's nice though, isn't it? You've got good people around you, mate. Different team. Becky seems to be at a lot of these races now. Wasn't at them at the start of the year. Is that because that you put her up in hotels with spas in?
Well, as soon as I got a podium, she started to support me then. So, you know, and also the holiday went last year, didn't it? So she's trying to get that holiday back.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
There's a lot of prize money in offer.
And she knocks a shit out.
Right, okay, sorry about that bit of swear in there, we don't need. That's Ryan's dad, by the way. Should never have put the microphone in front of your dad's face, though, should I?
You've done that, innit?
Yeah, I'll never do that again. Never do that again. But Becky, can I just ask you a proper question? He's doing a good job this year. What is the difference? You do see him at home, so what is the difference now? Is he in a better headspace?
I think it's because we've got cats.
Wow.
The only difference they've made.
Max Verstappen the cat and Coco the cat get 2 cats.
To be fair, you have got 2 cats, haven't you? And that looks like it's the difference then. We're all in trouble if that is the difference, mate. Birthday tomorrow, how old?
38, not 40.
Perfect, I like it. Cake at your own in a bit?
Yeah, got loads of cake, so anyone who wants cake, come over and get your diabetes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm a type 1 diabetic, so no cake for me. Right, before we get in any more trouble, I'm going to leave the vicinity, which has got your dad in it. I mean, he needs to come to me for some media training. You just don't say words like that on a live stream. Unbelievable. So sorry for anyone at home who caught that swear word. Not so good. Jack Harding. Right, Jackie, mate. This is not a good position to be in, really, is it? I know you've had a good old first race, but I know you'll just want to win.
Yeah, I wanted to win in that race, but found like 10,000 RPM off the start, so wheel spun and went backwards, and then Yeah, I thought we did all right. We got up to third, and then we were just on the move, and then I think they've set the fastest last sector, and then I thought, all right, game on, catch the boy's head, and then obviously red flag. We can't. It's unfortunate, and at least the driver were all right, but it's just annoying that it's classed as a result, and we're back here now.
Yeah. It's a difficult one, isn't it, I suppose, because I thought the red had come out earlier, to be fair, but the schedule is so tight, isn't it, that I suppose they've got no option, but it's just one of them things. Loads of cars, and at Oulton Park it's tight and narrow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, as long as everybody's all right, that's the main thing, and we proved we're quick. We just need to try and get a result out of this one. Podium would be nice, so looking forward anyway.
Yeah. Good man. All right, listen, I'll leave you to it. Stay in the shade. Right, let's go and have a speak to a few other people if we can. Dan's in there, he's giving us a wave, mate. It's good to see you. Morgan, we've spoken to Morgan. Alistair Camp, obviously our champ. Let's speak to George, actually. George is in the car. That is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you caught that. You might have caught the back end of that. Nice one. G, were you asleep then?
I was, yeah.
No, literally, were you asleep?
Out of it. Completely out of it.
Mate, it's sorry to wake you up, and I won't take too much of your time. What is going on in here? Because it's in the shade, actually, but it's black inside, and it can actually get quite hot when it's a darker car, can it?
Yeah, it's I'm quite lucky. I've got the roof scoop on top, so I get that going if it gets too hot. But you don't really notice it when you're driving. It's just like when you're sat waiting like this, or on the grids, or if there's a red flag. That's when it gets really bad. That's why I was out walking on the red flag then, because I was boiling. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad really.
Tell you what, the inside of this car. How old is this car? 17, 18 years old?
It's quite. I think it's the one that Deegan won the championship with in 2019. So it's done its miles, yeah.
It looks well, mate. So what you're expecting from this one? It's not the best of places to start, isn't it? Are you happy with what's been going on this year, or could do better?
Well, we had a good Cadwell round, and then we had a brake failure at Brands Quali, so we were sort of just starting the back for both races then. And then yesterday, all throughout testing, we had issues. We had brake issues, engine was misfiring. So Quali today was the only real proper running we've had, and we had a few issues with setup and stuff. So I mean, it wasn't too bad the first race. Obviously, the red flag was a bit unfortunate because it did hinder our pace. It's now put us back outside the top 10. So I wouldn't say we're where I think I should be or where I could be, but I think we have the pace of Matt, Thackeray, and all the front runners. It's just if we can get to them, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, mate. Listen, I'll leave you go back to sleep. Have a good one. Only joking. Have a good race, mate. Spot on. Right, people are starting to get in the cars. They're starting to crack on. So it is time to go back to Andy McEwen in the comms box.
For voice and data solutions at speeds that are simply out of this world, choose Maximum Networks.
Well, the Milltek Sports Civic Cup cars are very soon going to be heading out onto the circuit for their second race of the day. You'd be forgiven for thinking it was their first, because race number 1 earlier on only lasted the 3 laps before we had that red flag for the spectacular accident for Jordan Brennan. I've spoken to Jordan actually just before I came up here to the commentary box. He's absolutely fine, no injuries at all. The car, he even says, is fixable. It's not bent the chassis at all. A very, very lucky boy. Brake failure at over 100 miles an hour down into Knickerbrook, fired off into the tyre wall and rolled over the tyre wall and left himself in a very precarious position, but thankfully he and everyone in the vicinity absolutely okay, which means that we can now look forward to this reversed grid second race of the day. As I said, the top 10 finishers from race 1 being reversed, and as we've just been hearing from Paul O'Neill down on the grid, that does actually see a slightly different order to what we were expecting, because Harvey Caton finished 11th on the road in the earlier race, and he was knocked off the road at the first corner in the process of falling down to 11th. He was then given that place back, so he now ends up on the pole position. The track temperature, or certainly the ambient temperature at the moment, is almost 10 degrees hotter than it was when we got here this morning. We're well into the mid-20s now, an ambient temperature of about 24, 25 degrees, with very, very few clouds overhead. A baking hot Oulton Park Island circuit for the drivers to deal with, and we've already seen a few little issues with tyres and brakes and things like that. Let's wait and see how they manage it over the next 15 minutes. Championship being led by Alistair Camp, who of course will now take sole ownership of that championship lead. He was joint championship leader arriving here at Oulton with Matt Luff, but Matt Luff only 5th in the earlier race, and will therefore, of course, in fact he was further back than that, wasn't he? He was 6th in race number 1, 7th in fact, I'll get it right in a moment. 7th place for Matt Love, started 5th, finished 7th, so lost some points in race 1, but that gives him a better grid position for race number 2. He'll start 4th on the grid for this one, outside of row number 2, and Matt Love absolutely will be feeling that he can win this race and go on and claim his second race victory of the season. Small delay in getting the session underway, because we do have one car from the time attack session that's just been just being recovered. I can see it on a flatbed truck coming through Lodge Corner, so it shouldn't be much longer before we get them underway, and indeed right on cue. Out come the cars from the assembly area, and this will be their green flag lap. They do one lap from the pit lane, unlike the TCR cars who do a lap from the pits, line up on the grid for a few minutes and then do a green flag lap. This is it. This is their one chance to get out on track, get the heat into the tyres and get the race underway. And it will be Harvey Caton on pole position. I'll run you down that grid now then, because as I said, it's been amended slightly since the conclusion of the race earlier on. It is number 54, Harvey Caton on pole position, the 17-year-old, with Max Edmondson, number 33, alongside him. Then row number 2, number 42, Will Redford. He could be another outside bet for a win here, Will Redford. He's been quick earlier on this season. Didn't have a great qualifying this morning, as he was saying to Paul just now, but from 3rd on the grid might be able to do some damage. He's got Matt Luff, though, championship contender and runner-up in last year's championship alongside him. Row number 3 for Rob Butler, with Ryan Bensley for company. Jack Harding and Dan Thackeray make up row number 4. Remember, Jack Harding was 3rd on the road at the end of the earlier race, but the results go back 1 lap when we have a red flag, and so Jack ending up with a 4th place finish. That means that he starts this one 7th with Thackeray 8th, and then the top 2 from race 1, Morgan Bailey and Alistair Camp, start 9th and 10th respectively. George Alp Williams just missed out on the reversed grid. He's 11th in the number 5 car. Let's hope he's got that car sorted now for this race, with number 71, Gary Preble, the guest driver, really made some ground up in that earlier race to finish in 12th. Then it's Matthew Cripps and Alfie Threlfall together on row number 7. Then it's Daniel McDonald and Sam Linsner, Owen Hillman and Ross Darlington, with Jordan Brennan, of course, not a starter. We hope that we will have Jeff Alden out at the back of the Cup class grid. We've got 2 classes, though, the Cup cars and then the slightly slower, but only slightly slower, production-based machines. Louis Hounsell gets the pole position there, because, again, we reverse the grid. So Louis Hounsell, who won on the road but was then demoted with a post-race technical infringement, so he will start from the pole position in that class with Mark Hughes alongside him. Alfie Jakins and Dave Marshall on row 2, and Simon Welch will start from 5th on the production class grid, and that championship also very finely poised, actually, with Jakins and Marshall sharing the championship lead coming into the weekend, but Dave Marshall got the win in race number 1 eventually, so he takes now the championship lead for himself, and that was his first ever victory in the championship. So, Paul O'Neill back with me here in the commentary box, looking fresh as a daisy despite the temperatures out there, and great to hear from so many of the drivers. That's the one benefit of a delay before the race. We get to chat to most of the grid, and some interesting stuff down there.
Yeah, proper stuff. Yeah, sorry, I was just scurrying through my bag. If you don't know, I'm type 1 diabetic, and I was on a right old sugar low in that heat. But speaking to some mega people, mate, really interesting stuff from those guys down there. And again, sorry if Ryan Bensley's dad said a swear word and you caught it, so I do apologise for that. He didn't know we were live, so he shouldn't be swearing anyway, but I'll beat him up later on. Cracking grid this. I'm really looking forward to see what the poleman Harvey can do. Good kid, him. Great kid, and I know his dad really well, and they've really worked hard on getting him to the front and just making sure that he doesn't do anything silly. And I'll be honest, I've not seen anything stupid from this kid at all. He's been absolutely brilliant. I'd love to see him get at least a podium, and he's got the speed to do it.
I mean, all of those at the front, actually. I'd be quite happy to see take a victory. You've got Harvey on pole, Max Edmondson alongside could do with some good luck. Those two have been tied together all season. Then you've got Will Redford, the star of the show really at Brands. He was our co-All Sport driver of the day at Brands Hatch. And Matt Luff, who from a championship perspective, starting 4th in car number 72, really does need a good result from this one. Well, we're about to find out what's going to happen because we have our second Milltek Sports Civic Cup race of the day ready to go. 15 minutes on the clock, then the red lights go on. They go out now, away they go. Decent start that from Caton. Matt Luff is away well from the outside of row number 2, though. He's ahead of Redford already, but he's not going to be able to challenge the top 2. It's Caton from Edmondson from Luff as they rocket towards the first turn. Rob Butler in the silver car comes around the outside of Will Redford. That's brave stuff, but we know that Rob doesn't lack in bravery. He gets elbowed out wide for his troubles, a couple of them sideways in the dirt further back, but they all look to have got through the first corner. It's side by side for the race lead there. Sorry, that's for second, excuse me. And Matt Luff around the outside of Max Edmondson, and that's exactly what Harvey Caton wants to see in his wing mirrors.
Yeah, definitely. Harvey had a great rocket ship start, and look at the battle for P2. Like you say, Edmondson holding him off very early on the brakes for Harvey in the lead, but that's the right thing to do. He needs to just get his head down now. Great exit again. Harvey's had a great start to this race. The first half of the lap's looking absolutely brilliant. This is looking good as well. That looks pretty dangerous, and Morgan needs to make sure he doesn't turn across the front of him. So he's seeing what's going to happen. Harvey's down the inside. Sorry, Harding is down the inside, isn't he, for that place?
Yeah, Jack Harding ahead of Bailey then, so that's interesting because Bailey started behind him, but had briefly got ahead of Jack, although that now redressed as they come down into his Lops Alley camp. Right behind. That's Gary Preble in the Pro Alloys car, mixing it now. He's got ahead of George Alt Williams at the start. Druids, though, it's Caton who leads, Edmondson second, Luff in third position, Rob Butler in fourth, Redford down to fifth place there. Not a great start this time for Will Redford, but those top 5, I think, have the possibility of being very evenly matched over a 15-minute race.
Yeah, definitely. And I tell you what, this is really hot enough. I think Harvey's had a bit of a nightmare through Druids because he was really slow as he headed towards the first corner. Good for him, though, that the battle for P2 is hotting up, and look at that, already flashing of brake lights. People have got pad knockoff, like we were saying earlier, from that Druids corner and the curbs going in there. But this is looking super close. Loving it. This is going to be an awesome race. Brake lights still flashing. People are struggling with these brakes.
Yeah, they certainly are, aren't they? Harvey Caton's front splitter, I noticed, is wobbling as well. That won't be helping his front aerodynamics as he goes into the corners, and he's sideways off Cascades. Good car control, but that will now cost him momentum all the way down the lakeside straight towards the hairpin, where Max Edmondson goes for it up the inside line for the race lead. Max Edmondson has the overlap. He has the inside line, and Max Edmondson will lead them off the island hairpin on lap number 2. That was a committed move, and he might bring Matt Luff with him.
Committed move, great move. Matt Luff down the inside now of Harvey, and that's such a shame, but I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming from Edmondson, and that was brilliant. Side by side, only a little bit of contact. He's going to lose another place here to Butler. Butler's going to want a P3 out of this as well. Will he get run on the grass? No, opens it up, but look at that. Now away is Edmondson in the lead, and Caton is just about going to hold on to P3, is he?
Oh, let's see. Rob Butler's still lingering there on his right rear quarter, but no, does have to slot in behind. They're all getting very congested, though, as they come through Druids for the second time. You're right, Max Edmondson's gone. Oh, Caton sideways at Druids. Harvey Caton, how did he save it? Butler's on the grass. That was a monster moment from Harvey Caton, who again displays some top quality car control. He'll lose third place to Will Redford, but that could have been so much worse.
Oh, just a bit. Wow, it was fantastic car control. I thought that was him finished. That nearly ended up in the barrier as they come out of Druids. But look now, look at this congested field. It's 3, 4, 5 abreast as they now go down towards Old Hall at turn 1. But Edmondson has looked in his mirrors and gone, see you later, guys. The circuit's so dusty and hot now. This is going to be a war of attrition. Cars everywhere. And I think that is somebody you were talking about before, wasn't it? Was it
Preble?
Preble, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a proper big off, that was.
Oh, Morgan Bailey on the inside of Ryan Bensley there, trying to bring Alistair Camp with him. This is the risk in the reverse grid race for Camp, because he's having to come from 10th on the grid, and you've got to try and survive all these shenanigans going on around you. There's a car off, there's a yellow flag at the hairpin. Who is that? What is that? It's Rob Butler. Rob Butler off the road. Will Redford is slowing as well. I don't know if that's just as he tried to avoid that, but Rob Butler's been off going into the hairpin on the right-hand side, slides across the road, and Butler might be out of the race.
Wow, what went on there? That's a straight line braking zone, so yeah, something's definitely gone on. Look at that indicator on there, isn't it? That's Redford, isn't it? Redford's out the way. There's definitely been something gone on. Has he got a right front puncher or something? Oh no, is it a left front puncher? Left front puncher from contact. I think he's driven maybe in the back corner of that car, and he's just waiting to try and get back on track. Oh, nightmare for Will, that.
Yeah, Redford was ahead of Butler by a couple of places.
Drove
Butler,
up the back of him. Drove up the back of him. Left rear puncher.
Yeah, you're right. There's damage to the back of Butler's car as well. So that will now really have changed the order. We'll see what it's like at the end of the lap. But Max Edmondson is still leading the way. Is he being caught by Matt Luff? We'll wait till we get a view of them to confirm that. But I reckon Matt Luff in the sectors might be a little bit quicker. Further back there, that's McDonald trying to get on the inside of Gary Preble, who's been off at least once on this lap. The leaders at Old Hall Corner, though, are absolutely together now. Max Edmondson under all sorts of pressure from Matt Luff. Matt Luff sets the fastest lap of the race, and he wants a race victory. His championship rival Alistair Camp is only 7th at the moment, and the leaders, as they head towards Cascades, Paul, are absolutely as one.
Wow, they are pinned to the boards. Big slide. Oh, only just catches it. Edmondson, that is game over. Luff is through. That's a change for the lead, and I tell you what has gone on there? Everyone having big slides on the exit and the mid of Cascades, but yeah, he can get back in this. He's not done and dusted yet, but Luff, great exit, done. That's P1 for him.
Almost every driver I spoke to after race 1, Paul, said that in the limited laps they did, they were suffering from chronic understeer, and I think a few of them have wound that brake bias a bit too far back, maybe changed the rear suspension a bit too much, and that's leading to lots of turning oversteer.
There is, and as you said that, Luff's rear left brakes were locking up, so I reckon you're right. They've gone quite far, maybe too far to the rear. You can change the rake and you can do all sorts to the car, so something they're doing is making the rear of the car nervous. To do that from mid to exit and have a big slide is usually because you've done something pretty drastic with the rear setup. Lots going on in production class there as well. There was something happening at Knickerbrook.
That was Dave Marshall and Louis Hounsell, I think, fighting for the lead. It might have been even Alfie Jenkins getting involved as well. So the top 3 in production absolutely together. The Cup leaders are at Lodge Corner then. Purple sectors all over the place. Alistair Camp, purple in sector 1. Morgan Bailey in sector 2. Out of Lodge they come though. Headlights ablaze for Matt Luff, and he will lead them across the line at the end of the 4th lap of the race. 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Max Edmondson second. Harvey Caton still doing a really good job in 3rd. And Dan Thackeray up into 4th place. Of those who were on the podium in the earlier race, he is the one making the best progress.
Yeah, Harvey will be worried about that because he could track him down and he could get onto the back of him pretty quickly. But it is a brilliant battle, this is. And Thackeray there in the number 29. Oh, Morgan Bailey running wide out of Cascades. It's an interesting camera angle. I don't usually see it too much, and it just shows how much you're fighting and hanging on the exit of Cascades into the Island Hairpin.
Through the Island Hairpin they go then. Dan Thackeray has Jack Harding right behind him, then Bailey and Camp, as you said. So that's a really quick little group of drivers. Then George Williams, who's up ahead of Ryan Bensley now. Rounding out the top 10, by the way, is the number 140 car of Cripps, Matthew Cripps, and Ross Darlington also, Paul, you've spotted, he's made some good progress from the back.
Yeah, he was at the back. That green and white car, the 20 there, Rossi Darlington, absolutely flying. I wondered, he did qualify at the back, I'm sure of it. He must have had some problems, and then race 1 obviously didn't get too far up. So the number 20 is looking pretty good. He's disposing of some good people. He's making his way forward.
Took the restart in 18th, or this race I should say, in 18th place. So yeah, didn't have much time to gain. He didn't do many laps in qualifying. He had an off-track excursion, I seem to recall, at Cascades, and that sent him, unfortunately, to the pit lane and to the back of the grid. So, yeah, he's making some good progress. Ryan Bensley also making progress with a really nice move on the inside of George Williams at Lodge Corner, but George saw it coming, teed up the switchback on the exit, and they're door-to-door again over Deer Leap.
Well, that was a good effort, that, wasn't it? George is definitely awake now, isn't he, after being asleep on that grid walk? But as they go past us now, side by side into the braking zone, who's it going to be? Bensley just wants these points. Bensley can still win this championship. He's right up there. He's been scoring good points. And again, flash of the brake lights as they drive out on full throttle down the straight, trying to get those brakes to work for the next corner coming up. Look at that. That's a big, 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 big moment on the exit. Didn't look too big from Edmondson, but it was a big slide. And Harvey, you need to get back underneath him now, boy. You can't get all the way around the outside. You're going to leave the door open there, and you're going to lose a place if you're not careful. But he gets the steering straightened up, and yeah, I think he's going to try and shock his way back past Edmondson for that place.
Edmondson clearly struggling, didn't get off the hairpin very well either, and Caton now tries to the outside into the Hislop chicane. Now you can go round the outside there, get the inside for the left, you get squeezed onto the grass, there's a bit of touching through the corner, and somehow they get away with that. That was very touchy-feely stuff, and Edmondson hangs on. Caton's a bit all at odds now, isn't he? Runs out wide through Knickerbrook, and he's got Thackeray and Harding and Bailey and Camp all over him.
He's got a big decision now as Harvey. He's got to think to himself, do I stay P3 or do I battle and then I might drop back? So he's got an easy P3, and not an easy one, but he's got a stream of people behind him that could cause him grief. But if he just looks after his own, he should be okay. The good thing is that Edmondson has actually got up front now, so he's cleared him, and now he needs to just get on the back of him and don't make P2 become a problem and defend, because that's when you just get everyone back in your case. They're right with him now. He's had a terrible exit from Lodge, but they'll have seen that he got jumped on earlier on in the race, and they might try and do the same to him. But let's see what's happening behind.
Jack Harding again, he loves that move, that late lunge to the inside at Old Hall. He's going to squeeze Thackeray off wide, and Bailey and Camp will get the run now down the avenue. How's this one going to play out at Cascades? They might be 3 wide almost as they go through Denton's.
Brilliant.
Harding through, Thackeray on the inside. There's contact
sideways
with Bailey. Bailey sideways, Thackeray on the grass. It's all going on.
Wow, flash of the lights of Bailey. He's really not liking that, but side by side, Camp makes that place. The champ is through, and Dan Thackeray's just going to have to back it off now. But what a great battle. Oh, Harding, little bit of a push from Bailey. He says, thanks very much, mate. One in the door. They're going to go. That's not going to end well down at Knickerbrook. The chicane coming up. Look, can he get back across the front of him? There's Thackeray on the grass. Camp squeezes him, comes back. Look, side by side. Is he going to get across the front of him? Wow. Camp again gets the job done. Wow, what a race this is.
This is proper stuff. This is exactly what we said. It's hard, but just about the right side of fair. Bit of pushing and shoving, bit of squeezing, but nothing too untoward. And all of this, of course, has allowed Harvey Caton to get away from them again and latch back onto the tail of Max Edmondson. So for second place, they're absolutely together through Druids Corner. A good exit from here could allow Harvey to have a go into Lodge Corner. Of course, Jack Harding now trying to go with them, and he has had a good exit from Druids. He's up the inside, and he's through already. Harvey Caton is absolutely flying. His car is handling much better than Edmondson's, and he's into second place.
He is, but look at that. Harding was having a look as well. Who's going to be in the position? Well, Caton's done it. He's terrible out of Lodge Corner, and he's opened the door again. Edmondson is going to have a run. Be careful here, Harvey. You don't want to run across the front. Job done. He's got to get out of Lodge better, because that's the only place he's pretty stressful to watch, to be honest. But mid to exit again, he just has a bit of a traction issue, and he really backs the pack up. He's got to get this done and try and gap him. Oh, Edmondson's going to get the place back. That's a great move, and that's going to, whoa, big sideways across the grass, and a nightmare for Harvey. Can he get back on safely? Yeah. Nightmare for Harvey. Drops down the order.
That will have filled the grill with grass as well. That was, so you could see it digging into the grass on the exit of Cascade. So Caton drops to the back of the group. Then Edmondson back to second, Harding third, Bailey and Camp side by side now for fourth, and Harvey Caton slots in just behind them, but he's got actually Dan Thackeray trying to get up the inside of him now over Hilltop. It's all gone wrong for Harvey Caton, but Max Edmondson somehow hanging on to second, lost it for a couple of corners, put a robust move at Cascades, brings him back in front, and Harvey Caton really struggling. The front of that car does not look happy.
No, it doesn't. That spoiler now on the front of Caton's car is it doesn't look too much full of grass, but it's definitely took a beating. But it doesn't look like it's annoyed the car handling too much. He's still with that pack. Edmondson in the 33 having a nightmare. Harding will pass at some stage. Car off. Rossi Darlington, nightmare. Rossi off, pulled off, looks like a mechanical. Who's this now? That's Harding down and inside for second place. Great stuff, great move. Bailey wants a bit of this. Edmondson's going to be hung out to dry. Hip and shoulder. Where's it going to end? Edmondson into the side again of Morgan Bailey. Looks all clean, but he's going to lose another place. Camp's down the inside of him. He's gone from 2nd to 98th.
Oh, Alistair Camp just gradually picking his way through the order here. This is the drive of a champion from Alistair. He's into the top 5 now. There's another car stopped. That might be Alfie Threlfall, I think. Yeah, 66. Alfie Threlfall has stopped just up at the top of Clay Hill, but he's far enough off the road that hopefully they can cover that under yellow flags, because we've just gone through onto what should be I reckon the penultimate lap. I think we'll have time for one more lap after this one. Dave Marshall, by the way, is running in 3rd in the production class, because Louis Hounsell and Alfie Jenkins through Old Hall Corner absolutely together. It's Hounsell ahead, but Jenkins has closed him in, and so those two contesting the championship lead with Dave Marshall together, going on to the penultimate lap of the race. Thackeray up the inside of Caton. Well, Caton's race just unravelling here, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it is. You know what, though? I know what his dad will say to him. If he gets to the end of this race, he's learnt his lessons, and he could have easily had a podium, but he's still in the fight, and he's still having a fight, isn't he? And he doesn't mind putting his nose where others wouldn't. To be fair to the boy, Harvey, you know, I don't think he's done much wrong. It's just been not great exits, and maybe a bit of tyre management experience is needed, but another place lost. But listen, the car, fortunately, at the minute, isn't in a ball, and it's still in the race, so fair play. All the experience. The lad's 16. This is a mega race from the lad.
Yeah, he's lost another place there to Alp Williams over Clay Hill, and Ryan Bensley will probably have a pop at him now down into Lodge. Meanwhile, Alistair Camp up the inside of Max Edmondson. That's for 4th position now, and all of a sudden the advantage that Matt Love has in this race over Alistair Camp is coming down almost by the lap. Jack Harding's 2nd place isn't secure either. Morgan Bailey really going after him as they go through to start the final lap of the race. Matt Love with a 5.1 second advantage over Jack Harding in 2nd, Morgan Bailey 3rd, Alistair Camp 4th, and Max Edmondson trying now to hang on to his 5th position. Out of Old Hall Corner they go, down the avenue for the last time. Paul O'Neill dashes down to the podium, and we'll focus on these last lap battles because there's plenty still to shake out in this one. Jack Harding, as he exits Cascades in 2nd place, now does look a little bit more secure in P2. And yeah, personal best first, second actually 3/10 quicker than the leader, but Matt Love is over 5 seconds up the road. The position that could change here, I think, is 5th place, and it will change because Max Edmondson's wide at the island hairpin, and Dan Thackeray needed no second invitation. Goes through on the inside line. Now can George Alp Williams follow through as well? He's got his nose on the right-hand side as they go over Hilltop. That's the inside line for the Hislop chicane, and I reckon George Alp Williams is going to go for this. He's level with Max Edmondson. He's late on the brakes. Max will try and tough it out around the outside. They bang doors. Edmondson over the grass. Rejoins right in front of George Alp Williams. There'll be an argument there as to whether he gained an advantage by going off the track. Both drivers will have a very different opinion on that, I'm sure, and the battle will continue with Edmondson still in front. The leader goes through Druids. Harding 2nd, 3rd Bailey, 4th Camp, 5th is Thackeray, who appears in 6th. It is still Edmondson who is in 6th place ahead of Alp Williams, Bensley and Harvey Caton. Those 4 absolutely together through Druids. But for the final time of asking, Matt Love is heading through the final turn, and another race victory in the Milltek Sports Civic Cup is going his way. Perhaps a really important one here, because Alistair Camp is not going to be on the podium. Matt Love wins race number 2 in the Civic Cup here at Oulton Park. 2nd place goes to Jack Harding, 3rd Morgan Bailey, 4th will be Alistair Camp, 5th for Thackeray, and then the scramble to the line for 6th place. That is Edmondson ahead of Alp Williams still, with Bensley and Caton behind him. And Matthew Cripps will round out the top 10 finishers. Good effort that from Matthew. Meanwhile, the production battle, that's heading into Lodge Corner as well now, and Louis Hounsell is somehow keeping Alfie Jenkins behind. The number 28 car, the purple and black machine, exits Lodge Corner, a little bit wide, but Jenkins isn't quite going to have the momentum to challenge him to the line, and it will be Louis Hounsell who wins in the production category. 2nd place for Alfie Jenkins, and 3rd will be Dave Marshall, albeit some way adrift in that race after clearly a few issues with the FN2 Civic. The red number 99 car comes across the line just ahead actually of the Cup Class FN2 of Jeff Oulton as well. At the moment, though, the celebrations belong to Area Motorsport, because Matt Love is going to celebrate another race victory. Now, he lost a handful of points to Alistair Camp in race 1, but we reckon that that was probably going to be half points awarded for race 1. We haven't actually had that officially confirmed, but if that is the case, and it was half points, then actually Matt Luff's going to take a bigger chunk of points out of Alistair Camp in race 2, which ran to its full duration, than Camp did out of him in race 1. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Matt Luff as the championship leader exiting Oulton Park. But again, we will wait for official confirmation. Do check out the Milltek Sports Civic Cup website if you want the up-to-date results on that one. So, Matt Luff brings them around to the pit lane again, and the paddock and the podium area, and the ex-Ginetta Junior racer, Matt Luff, who then went on to race in Mazda MX-5s, actually quite similar to Jack Harding, who raced in MX-5s as well, albeit Matt was in the Mark 1 championship, the older spec Mazda MX-5s. Jack Harding was a regular race winner in the Super Cup for the Mark 3s, but they both proved themselves to be good in rear-wheel drive cars and have now both acquitted themselves nicely to the Civic Cup. Rob Butler, well, what can you say about Rob Butler? He is looking on at his car as he is leaning against the tyre wall at the island hairpin, damage to his car after contact early on, and just some drivers just can't seem to buy good luck, and this last year or so Rob Butler has absolutely been one of them, and that's kind of the story of his couple of rounds at TCR UK at the start of the year. Just always seemed to be on the receiving end of contact, and it looks like that was the same again. A couple of souvenirs for the marshals though as a result of that. Some bits of Honda Civic being dragged out of the way at the island hairpin, but with a couple of cars to be removed from precarious positions as well. It is likely that we will have a slight delay before our next session gets underway. Confirmation of the result then, Matt Luff, number 72, gets the race victory. 43, Jack Harding is in second, and third place goes to number 26, Morgan Bailey. Number 1, Alistair Camp was in fourth, and number 29, Dan Thackeray, rounds out the top 5. Max Edmondson 6th, George Alt Williams 7th, Ryan Bensley in 8th, Harvey Caton in 9th, and Matthew Cripps rounds out the top 10. And it is McDonald in 11th, Gary Preble 12th, Sam Linsner is 13th, ahead of Owen Hillman. And then the production race winner was number 28, Louis Hounsell. Number 754, Alfie Jenkins was second, and that will make things very interesting. Those three, Hounsell, Jenkins and Marshall, who was third in that racing class, all very close together in the points. Jeff Oldham was in 18th place, and the rest in behind. We, of course, lost Ross Darlington, Will Redford and Rob Butler in the early stages. So that is the racing done for the Milltek Sports Civic Cup, but we can hand down now to Paul O'Neill at the podium to hear from our top 3 finishers.
Welcome back to the podium. What was amazing. Love that, Milltek Sports Civic Cup. That was a proper race. Talking about proper races, mate, that looked like actual. Well, that was boring for you. Did you look in the mirror? Did you see what's going on behind?
Yeah, no, from the start, I knew I had to get past that gaggle at the front, and once that was done, they would start fighting and I could get a gap. And so, yeah, it was a case of getting past Edmondson, who, to be fair, put up a good fight. But yeah, I think he made a mistake coming out of Cascades, and I just had enough momentum to get around him. And then that was that. He got in a scrap with, I think, a couple of cars behind, and then I was gone. I don't know what the gap was, but I mean, it was pretty plain sailing, to be honest.
Oh, mate, it looked amazing. I tell you what, you honestly wouldn't want to have been in any of them battles behind. But I did notice one thing with your car. You look like you were locking rears quite a lot early on. I don't know if you've gone to the rear with the bias on the brakes.
To be honest, I've been playing around with setup all day, trying to get it to work. We struggled in that first race, partly due to braking, the setup, all sorts. So, I mean, it's good to get a win, but I think the main issue is just the heat. Like, it gets so hot and you're pushing the brakes so hard, eventually, you know, halfway through the race, it's too hot to function normally and it's going to lock up. But yeah, either way, I've got a win, so I'm happy.
Top man, is it management of the car and the driver?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, as a driver, I don't think I feel like I get that hot, but the car especially, like in the race, you can feel the heat coming through the engine into your feet, like where your feet are, and it gets really toasty, especially in these conditions, obviously. But yeah, it's fine.
Top man, listen, you're back on top form, so we'll leave you to it. Matty, spot on, mate, well done, absolutely grand. Right, P2 then. Jackie Harding, I keep calling you Jack, it's Jack, I just call you Jackie because you're like my mate. Listen, that was mega, and I was just saying then to Matt, the one thing he didn't want to do probably was look in his mirror, because you, my friend, were in like battle royale mode with everyone.
Yeah, the brakes are pretty bad on these when they get hot, and I haven't experienced it before. So went up the inside of Thackeray into turn 1 and could hardly stop. So managed to get through there all right. But no, it was just a lot of battling going on ahead, a few harsh moves and people pushing each other wide. So I got gifted a couple of places, but yeah, the car just felt so strong. The AK boys, we've never done front wheel drive before. We're getting our heads together and we're figuring it out though, clearly.
They make a good car. I know that. I've raced against you guys before in the AK team. But listen, I just seen Morgan was apologising to you then. Was it the hairpin? It looked like he had a bit of a braille move.
Everybody's brakes have gone and basically just locked up. He went straight into the back of me, but he just gave the place back on the exit. He got a run on me, but then he conceded. So look, an apology goes a long way. You know, it's tough out there. We're all going to make mistakes, but no, it's great racing. It's just a shame the race early didn't run, because I think we'd have been in with a chance.
Yeah. The wind's coming, innit?
Hopefully, we'll see.
Top man. Well done, mate. You've had a cracking day. Absolutely awesome. Morgan Bailey, the tallest man alive. Come to me, not you. No, I'm joking. Let's get Morgan's car in. You can see this thing a mile off. Actually, do you want to talk me through that bit of damage there? Actually, to be fair, Jack Harding was just saying, you come and apologise to him, mate.
Yeah, just locks it up under the brakes.
It's easy to do, isn't it?
Yeah. At the hairpin, there was grass all over the road. Just simple mistake. Didn't try and come past him. I nudged him, pushed him off the apex. I was underneath him. I lifted, give him it back. You can't go passing people like that.
Now, fair play. There was a few moves that I don't think people did it on purpose. That, you know, it's the hot temperatures. To be honest, mate, though, it's proper dusty out there. The circuit looked like a completely different beast to race one. No, you only had a few laps.
Yeah, there's stuff everywhere. There's bumpers all down there. There's grass all over. Yeah, but I'm happy with 9th to 3rd. Consistency, 2 podiums this weekend. Yeah, happy with that.
Top man, listen, leave you to it, mate. Go and get some water, and we'll go and speak to our production class winner. This boy hit Stuart Lines. What do you want? Go. This is Stuart Lines. He owns.
I got shoes older than him. Right. Just want to put that out there on live stream.
Awesome. You're nearly as bad as the guy who swore before. Anyway, this is not my show and it's not his show. This is your show, mate, and this is where you should belong. You happy with that?
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Thank you. Yeah, start of the day was really good, getting a pole, but then getting it taken away for just an honest mistake, which doesn't. I've got my one, so yeah. It was a good race. I had a decent start. Got past the cup car, which puts a little bit of a breathing room because they have to get past as well. And then Dave and Alfie were having a really good ding-dong battle behind. I was watching it in the mirrors. And then I think I overheated my front tyres a little bit. Started dropping a little bit of pace, and Alfie caught up, and we had a little bit of a battle. It was really fun, really clean. Yeah.
You've had harder days, mate.
Yeah, I have.
So we go on to the next one, next round. So what are you looking forward to for that one?
It's another new track for me, Castle Combe, which I'm excited to learn, and hopefully more good results.
I've been there loads, mate, and it's the scariest place I have ever.
What's scarier than this?
You think this place is scary?
It's pretty scary, yeah.
You wait till you get to Castle Combe. I'll come. We nickname it Castle Doom.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I'll come and see you, mate, and see if your eyeballs are still working, because that place you'd be like, ah. But listen, good day, and send my best to the team. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
man. Right, there you have it then. Milltek Sports Civic Cup and production is covered, and yeah, that was pretty awesome. Back to you.
Thanks, Paul. Yep, thank you. Great to hear from our drivers down in the podium area there. We will have one more race coming your way here from Oulton Park today. That's the reverse grid race for TCR UK. But if you are a fan of the Milltek Sports Civic Cup, and let's face it, you probably should be after the race that we've just seen, they will indeed be back out on the 6th of August at Castle Combe. That is also the next TCR UK round as well. So the 6th of August is the next date for your diary. Rounds 9 and 10 for the Milltek Sports Civic Cup will be coming up then. So we'll leave you in peace for a little while here trackside at Oulton Park, and we'll see you all again at home very soon for some more great Civic Cup action.